Let's get into our next topic here because we are talking about tonight's game, Celtics versus the 76ers. It's going on in about 20 minutes, so it should be interesting how our takes actually come out of this game. But Joel Embiid, it says doubtful. It's now official. He is out for game one. So this will be pretty big for the Celtics at home to try to take this. They are 10-point favorites at home. And the Celtics in the first series, I think this is crucial. He went to 6 games with the Atlanta Hawks, who are not a very good basketball team this year. They're basically 50-50 throughout the entire season. But the saving grace is Tatum and Brown for the Celtics are averaging a combined 27 points and basically 8 rebounds in this playoffs. So I just want to know, who wins tonight?
They each score at least 27 points.
Yeah, well, the combined, they have 27 points. But I don't know, who do you think wins tonight? And what do you think overall the outcome of this series will be now that Joel Embiid may have a problem with his injuries?
What is his injury?
He has an ankle injury.
Well,
and it looks pretty bad.
If he can't play, that's the Celtics' prohibitive favorite.
Right.
They're going to win. I don't see how the 76ers can beat him without him.
Right.
The Celtics just have too many weapons to get beat by them. But I will say the Celtics are a little bit shaky in the series against the Hawks, right? You got to play better defense. Come on. The game that the 5th game, right, at home, they let Trae Young score all those threes, right? I was surprised. They were up by quite a bit. They kept chipping the lead away and chipping. Pretty soon they tied it up, and then the Celtics up by 1 with 4 or 5 seconds to go. Maybe 8 seconds to go. Young just dribbles down there, takes a 3 from way beyond the arc, sinks it. With just a hand in his face. I think the Celtics last year they played a lot better defense. And they think they're going to have to step it up on defense if they really want to make it to the finals and win the finals.
Right. Well, I will say this. We do have a take. Skip Bayless thought he has apparently an inside source from the 76ers who actually talked about Joel Embiid and his injury. And this is what Skip Bayless had to say about his inside source.
Called my source back last night, and he said, we got a big problem. Joel continued to complain on Monday and Tuesday. They had it MRI'd, and it's bad. He has a small tear. Probably will require some kind of procedure after the
He better go on and get that done, Skip.
Okay, well, I'm with you. My source told me last night, if he does try to go, we expect him to be about 20 to 30% of what he was, which was the MVP of the league.
Does not sound too good for Joel Embiid.
Not at all. In a way, it's a shame, You like to see competitive series.
Right.
How can it be that competitive without him in there? I mean, then you're left with Harden is really your only big weapon.
Yeah.
Right? Who said, do they have another big guy? I don't think.
You got Tyrese Maxey, who's been pretty good, but Tobias Harris is really the savior. In the sweep, when Joel Embiid went out for game 4, it was Tobias Harris stepping up, but I don't think Tobias Harris is really going to be that key cog to go up against the Celtics.
Embiid is huge.
Right,
I mean, he's big.
No, I agree.
He is muscle under the boards and going down. And he's a good outside shooter, too. He can do it inside or outside. So losing him is huge. I don't if he can't play the series at all, then and if he does play, if he's really as impaired as Bayless is saying, then I just don't see the 76ers being able to make it that competitive.
It's going to be interesting because originally it was Joel Embiid. It's not that bad of an injury, but then the MRI came out and Doc Rivers said, yeah, it's not looking too good. And then Skip Bayless said that it's torn and it could be very, very bad. Now the Celtics need to take these 2 games at home. That's going to be the big thing here because if Joel Embiid is back for game 2 or if he has to be back for game 3 or game 4, the Celtics need to be on their A game. Mm-hmm. And it could be that the Celtics thought the Hawks were just a pushover. And so they didn't really need to play hard basketball, and it showed that the Hawks almost, even in Game 6, the Hawks kept it close, and I was nervous that this would go to a Game 7. And if it went to a Game 7, I wouldn't be surprised if the Hawks were able to win in the Game 7. Now tonight, up by 10, I think the Celtics should win. If they're favored by 10, I think the Celtics should win, especially with Embiid out.
Yeah. Well, did Embiid hurt this? Did he have this injury at the end of the prior series, or was he hurt then too?
No, he was hurt at the end of the prior series. Yeah,
right at the end.
He got hurt. He got hurt in Game 3.
Oh,
Game 4 he didn't play.
Game 4 he didn't play.
No,
but they swept.
Yeah, they were able to sweep because Tobias Harris.
So he hasn't played on the injury yet.
He is not. Wow. Now, I think he's considering a cortisol shot to try to ease the pain a little bit of a torn ligament or torn whatever it is, something in his ankle. But he's not going to be ready for Game 1. That's what got reported about 20 minutes before our show. So we'll see exactly how the 76ers sort of compete with the Celtics because hey, they took care of business against the Nets in Game 4. But then again, I think the Celtics are a deeper, better team than the Nets this year.
That's for sure.
Hey, McCall Bridges went off. That's all I got to know.
I would say I give the Nets a lot of credit for making the playoffs after all the turmoil they had all season.
Right.
I give that Jack Vaughn I give him a lot of credit. He really is quite a good coach.
Yeah.
I think that they get their team together for next year. It could be someone to reckon with, and they have a chance to really put it together in the preseason and have a real strategy without having so much turmoil and turnover in players. I mean, to lose 2 superstars and still make the playoffs. I mean, they lost those guys with quite a few games to go, and they still made it. And they weren't the last seed either, right? What number seed were they?
It was 6 seed.
Six seed. So they didn't have to be in the play-in tournament.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the most impressive thing. They didn't slide as much as at least I was expecting them to slide. That was a crazy thing for me.
The Heat's performance surprises me so much. I watched that first play-in game. These guys are done.
Yeah.
They were horrible against Atlanta. I don't know. Maybe they didn't want to win that game. I don't know. Maybe they didn't want to. They figured they'd be better. The seeding would be better for them if they were 8. I don't know.
Right.
But why would they want to be 8 and face Milwaukee?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I'm nervous about the Celtics because while Jason Tatum isn't having as many bad shooting performances as he was last year, he still has them. That's why I can't set in stone that he's a superstar.
Yeah.
Because when you go and have games like you do when you're putting up 35 points and 12 rebounds and looking phenomenal, then you go up a game or two later and shoot 1 of 10 from 3. I mean, I can't say, oh yeah, you are consistently great. No, Jason Tatum is a great player, but he's not a superstar. Jaylen Brown, I think, is actually more consistent. And honestly, truthfully, I think it was a bigger piece in the Celtics' success last year, although there was obviously one game 6 against the Bucks, where Jason Tatum matched Giannis point for point, essentially, and that's the reason why they won. I think overall, Jaylen Brown was the more consistent basketball player in last year's series. That's what I just think, and the numbers may not back me up. At least that's what the eye test told me. Jaylen Brown was out there. Maybe he didn't shoot 35 points, but he was putting up 25, 26 with 6-7 rebounds, and he made it look effortlessly. Now we're taking a look at this series. Is Jason Tatum going to be consistent? That's my big question mark. Because if Jason Tatum comes out here and shoots poorly, I'm going to be nervous for the Celtics because Jaylen Brown, he's still got that face mask on, and I think TNT put up the numbers in game 4 or 5. The face mask on versus off is a very, very noticeable difference in points and rebounds and assists. He plays far worse with the mask on than he does with the mask off.
Why does he still need it on? He's been wearing it for a long time. I would have thought whatever injury he had would have healed up by now.
You would think.
Did he break his nose?
I think it was some sort of obviously it's a facial injury. It may have been a nose, but I don't have the exact injury in front of me. But we'll see how they open up today. They should win at home without Joel Embiid. First of all, the Celtics did something weird. They rested Robert Williams basically the entire year. He didn't play very much. He started off the season injured. He came back. He was a pretty good player. They just didn't play him that much. Al Horford, in his advanced years, he's not shooting the ball great, but he could have his moments. He had his moments last season in the finals. He started off game 1 where the Warriors, I think, just fell apart in that fourth quarter, and Al Horford went off. So Al Horford can have these moments in the playoffs, but thus far, we're not seeing really a great Al Horford performance. Derek White has been efficient. Malcolm Brogdon, we said at the beginning of the year when the Celtics got him, great acquisition. They finally got that distributor that they need. Now he's the sixth man of the year. He's been pleased. Hey, great pickup for the Celtics. He's been very, very effective.
The Celtics are deep. The Celtics are deep.
They are. Now, while the Bucks were the number one seed, I've been saying this for months at this point. The Celtics overall, if you go down the depth chart, are the more deep team and overall the better team. Now, their record obviously didn't say that because they were the number 2 seed, but I just think if you look down the roster, that if you look at any other roster, it's not as deep, it's not as good as the Celtics roster. And you know what? The only reason I'm nervous, and it could just be stupid nerves because the Celtics didn't care about the Hawks, is you went to 6 games with the Hawks. The Hawks were literally a 500 team basically the entire season, and you went to 6 games with them.
Yeah.
So
I don't think the Hawks have much besides Trae Young.
DeJounte Murray didn't really do as much as I think I was hoping because on the Spurs he was a really, really good player. Then the Hawks picked him up. I thought it was a great pickup for the Hawks. He didn't really produce as much, and in the playoffs he wasn't as big of a factor. And it was just shocking how tough the Hawks out was. The Celtics just could not get it done, and I was very, very surprised that the Celtics had a lot of trouble putting them away. And tonight you're going up against the Sixers, who Tyrese Maxey's a great player. Tobias Harris, I love Tobias Harris. I just don't think he's going to put 26 points a game without Joel Embiid there. But that's just me. James Harden, what kind of a night are you getting from James Harden? Are you getting a 4 of 11 shooting night? Or are you getting James Harden in game 1 versus the Nets where he can make any 3 from anywhere at any time with whoever's guarding him, with however many people are guarding him? James Harden in that first game went absolutely off from 3.
He had a great series.
Which James Harden are you going to get?
It's going to be, I think they can focus on him now without Embiid in there.
Right.
They can double team him if they want.
I think that's going to be the key. And James Harden knows how to draw fouls. He's very, very good at doing his little step back and draw a foul at the 3-point line. So it's going to be interesting. I will take the Celtics here, but I'm nervous about taking the points, so I'll go 76ers plus 10 with the Celtics money line. That's my official bet. You think the Celtics are going to win by more than 10 points in this game?
Without Embiid in there, I'd say they should.
They should, but I just feel like
they don't play good defense. I guess maybe that would be the thing that might cause them to have it closer and the point spread be beat.
But off the top of your head, you're going Celtics minus 10?
Right now, I think so, yeah.
That's going to be an interesting pick.